So hey guys, so welcome back to Live, Love, Life, and Travel. This is your girl Shamika, and welcome back to Speak Freely here, where we celebrate the freedom of speech. And I'm doing a no face cam video today because I'm going to be going over some audio and just decided not to do the switch back and forth. And I'll be doing some of these videos now and then, like if I it's later in the day and I want to make a video and I don't have enough sunlight or whatever, I'll do these videos now and then. So I hope you guys are okay with it. You don't get to see my smiling face, my squinty eyes. Anyway, so if you haven't heard the recording that Lindsay Shepherd had at the Wilfrid Laurier University in Canada, Lindsey Shepherd is a TA, and she played a short clip of Jordan Peterson having an interview with people about the pronoun situation. And Jordan Peterson became really famous because he started promoting and protesting against the bill. What is it? Bill 16, or the bill that's trying to make pronouns not using someone's pronoun illegal. And he protested that, and he became famous over free speech and so forth. And he's really smart. He's been, I've mentioned him before. He's been doing his rounds on interviews and books, and he's like, every time I hear him talk, I always feel like I've learned something new. Anyway, but so this college TA, Lindsay Shepherd, played a couple of clips in her college university class, and they were talking about pronouns and transgenderism, and she thought that she would play this in a neutral way. She didn't make her ideas clear. She didn't make a statement. She just played the video in a neutral way so the kids can see what the opposition was saying, and so they can, critical think, so they can learn how to think and learn how to break down ideas and learn how to debate. And well, I guess that's not what the University of Wilfrid is about. Now, I think they're about teaching kids what to think and not how to think. And so she got in a bit of trouble, and she was smart enough to record the conversation, which is about 45 minutes long. I'm not going to play all the recordings in this video, but I will put a link in the description box below so you can hear the whole recording. But she recorded the conversation, and oh my gosh, like, I think there's been a lot of rumors and a lot of talk these days about universities indoctrinating and brainwashing students, and that they've been doing it for a long time now, and it's just really kind of become more polarized, but now we literally have some audible proof of it. And so I'm gonna go over some of the recordings, and I'm gonna be just intersecting my opinions. And so yeah, let's hit it. Again, I'm not playing the whole video. I'm just playing sections that I think is important. So here you go.
Might have been seen as problematic by some of the students, maybe even threatening.
I don't see how someone would rationally think it was threatening. I could see how it might challenge their existing ideas, but for me, that's the spirit of the university, is challenging ideas that you already have. The thing is, can you shield people from those ideas? Am I supposed to comfort them and make sure that they are insulated away from this? Like, is that what the point of this is? Because to me, that is so against what a university is about.
And she is absolutely correct. The point of college, the point of education, the point of university is to teach you how to think. Not what to think, not what you should think, but how to think, how to break down ideas, critical thinking. University is not there to shield you from ideas, to protect your feelings from you being hurt. This is not the job of the university. It's not a daycare center. You're there to learn. You're there to learn from different perspectives. And if you do not agree with a perspective, you're then taught how to debate and break down that perspective, not to put your fingers in your ears and plug out the information.
If you're presenting something like this, you have to think about the kind of teaching climate that you're creating. This is actually, these arguments are counter to the Canadian Human Rights Code. It is discriminatory to be targeting someone due to their gender identity or gender expression. The reality is that it has created a toxic climate for some of the students.
What I have a problem with is I didn't target anybody. Who did I target?
Trans folks.
How? by telling them ideas that are really out there, by telling them that, by telling them? Really? Sorry, what did I violate in that policy?
So, gender-based violence, transphobia, causing harm to trans students by framing their identity as invalid.
So, by proxy of me showing you a YouTube video, I'm transphobic and I caused harm and violence. So be it.
So they're using these words like toxic, violent, threatening words. And this is what the progressive left have been doing for a really long time, because they want to ramp up the idea of banning hate speech.
The First Amendment does not protect hate speech. The First Amendment does though. It does.
But not banning hate speech in a way where someone's calling someone a nigger or a faggot or a tranny or something like that, but literally just presenting an idea that is an opposite of yours, an opposition, have you. And that has become threatening or violent or toxic. When he says that, let's think about the type of teaching environment that we want to present to our students, he's basically saying we have to coddle them. We have to protect them and shield them from wrong think. These aren't adults. These are 18-year-olds, but they're adults. And you're supposed to be getting them prepared for reality, for the real world, where a majority of people don't give a fuck about your label or your identity. It's not that they don't care about you or they want you to burn in hell or anything like that, but they're pretty much too involved in their own lives and their own issues and their own situation to care about yours. They're not going to go around coddling you all the time. The university is supposed to be preparing you for that, to become working adults in our society.
When you get out in the world, in the working force, if you're able to get work, your boss is not going to care if he hurt your feelings. Your boss is not going to care that you need 5 minutes to go to your safe space. And when they condition these people to thinking that way, it sets them up for failure.
It seems like what the Democratic Party and socialists do, they want to tear everybody down instead of build something for themselves. So take that energy, take that passion, and start a business and start a Facebook page and go do college speeches. And if you can't, maybe you're not as good as Ben Shapiro.
They're saying that she has targeted someone. She hasn't targeted anybody. And the fact of the matter is, she's also said that when she presented this minute video of Jordan Peterson talking about pronouns, that the students didn't seem uncomfortable or threatened in any way. They actually seemed engaged and interested in having a conversation. And if you haven't noticed, when it comes to a lot of uni students or people who are fresh out of uni or people who are like career students who are taking humanitarian courses, gender studies, oppression studies, or whatever, a lot of times when you present them the idea, the opposition, and ask them to sort of, you ask them like, what do you have a problem with? What is your problem with this idea? If you've noticed, they don't know how to argue back with you. Or not even argue, they don't know how to have a conversation back with you. They don't know how to debate because they're not taught these things. They're not taught how to break things down and how to debate it and how to present it, your perspective, your idea. When you see people interview these protesters outside of Ben Shapiro or Milo's or Dr. Jordan Peterson or Dave Rubin, when they're protesting, they say things like they're transphobic, they're racist, they're misogynist, they're bigots. And then when people come up to them and ask them why you think these things, they actually don't have a reason. They just say, well, because he promotes violence. And they say, actually, he doesn't. This is what he's actually saying. They become they're like these robots that have been designed by universities, and when you present them an argument, they kind of short circuit and they don't know how to talk back. They don't know how to present you an opposite argument because they've never been taught how to debate. They've never been taught critical thinking. They have been taught to repeat things. They have been taught this is bad, this is wrong think. We don't argue back with wrong thinkers.
I think that Ben Shapiro's transphobic and racist rhetoric is harmful to our campus.
What does he say that's racist?
Well, exactly what Bryn was just telling you about, that racism is not an institution. It is just, Sorry.
It is an institution?
Sorry.
I don't agree with his views, no.
Which are you not happy with?
I think he's just...
Did he say something that you just don't like?
I can't pick out a quote in particular.
What is it that you have against Milo? What's something he said? What's something that makes you here today?
I'm not an expert on Milo Yiannopoulos. There are people that you should be interviewing.
He should come and talk. We need to know the ignorance in the country. We need to know what you guys believe.
Definitely.
Exactly.
What's some of the ignorance that Ben Shapiro said or done that you don't like?
Who's the bigot? Why? Why?
Because you support a fascist.
Who?
Donald Trump.
He's a fascist. Why? Thank you. Why is he a fascist?
Are you with him?
I'm in the middle.
I'm good.
Why is he a fascist?
He's out.
Is there anything in specific though that he said that you're out here fighting against?
Honestly, I don't remember none of it right now.
We're with protesters. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay. And why are you out here today?
I think I'm out here today to protest the hate and the violence that Ben Shapiro and the people like him that are coming to speak. I'm protesting what they're preaching and the hate that they're igniting on this campus to try to divide us.
And what hate is that specifically?
That hate is against people of color, just in that sign behind you. I don't know if you can get that, but in the quotes that they say against people of color, trying to divide people, racist, xenophobic, and just alienating people and dividing us. It's what he stands for and what they are preaching as a group. And
what specifically that he stands for, like certain issues, or is it like I don't know, like what exactly are you talking about?
Just the like racism is what I'm trying to say. So like
what specifically racist?
Like against, I mean, I'm kind of biased because I'm Muslim, but I mean, these people are Islamophobic, and the words that they are saying are very anti-Muslim, anti-Arabs, and anti a lot of other races, but mainly anti-Arab with Ben Shapiro.
Okay. Anything specifically that, I mean, have you seen any of his videos or speeches or anything you picked out from those?
No, I don't have I can't come up with something off the top of my head, but yeah.
Is it like based on what others have told you, or?
Yes, yeah, and yeah.
They've been shielded from this, and the fact of the matter is, the reason why they want to protect and brainwash these kids from the opposite side, or people with the opposite opinion of them, and not even extreme opinions, just kind of like common sense opinions, because they don't want these kids to now become interested. Like if someone watched this video of Dr. Jordan Peterson and was like in a classroom and was like, hey, I'm not actually that offended by him, maybe I will go Google him when I get home, or maybe I'll watch a couple of videos on YouTube, and then all of a sudden their mind is open and they realize this person is not a horrible person, they're not a Hitler like I've been taught, they actually have a point of view, and they're actually, they're pretty sensible. And then all of a sudden they look at their university professors like, what the hell are you talking about? This person's not that bad. They're trying to teach these kids not to even debate, not to have a conversation, not to even listen to what that person is saying, because it's harmful, because what they're saying is problematic, because what they're saying is toxic. You got to protect yourself from those things. It's, oh my God, it is so ridiculous. And the more and more and more, and I think in the beginning it was more like, oh, this is kind of a conspiracy theory, that all this stuff is coming out of the universities. But the more and more and more I started hearing about stuff like this, the more I am really like thinking like, this is coming out of the universities. Like, I've heard multiple students now, multiple people making YouTube videos and having interviews saying like, I didn't think that I lived in a systemic institution, societal racism. I didn't think that all men were rapists. I didn't think that all white people were racist. I didn't think I was oppressed. I didn't feel like a victim until I went to university, until I started studying university, until I started studying humanitarian classes or courses, and then I started thinking that. A lot of these students claim that they're woke because, oh, I got taught the right things at my universities, but what's really happening is they're being indoctrinated. Like my dad actually, he was dating a woman with kids, and he sort of became their sort of pseudo stepdad. And as they got older, they went to university, and he went to pick up one of his, stepdaughter, and she saw a white girl holding hands with a black man, and she says something like, oh my God, look at that, like, coon, look at that Uncle Tom, I can't believe he's with that white girl. And my dad was like flabbergasted, because my dad does not think like that at all. Me and my dad kind of think exactly the same. We think all this stuff is bullshit. And he looked at her and he was like, where did you hear that from? And she literally was like, I heard it from school. Like, this is where this is coming from. And then they graduate, and they just pass it down to their kids, or they become teachers, or they become professors, and they just regurgitate and recycle the same fucking bullshit over and over again. They really need to diversify the fucking colleges. They need to diversify the universities. They can't have just a bunch of progressives in there. It's getting so bad where now people are trying to avoid humanitarian classes, and they're trying to, like, sneak this shit into, like, math class and stuff like that, or science class, because they're that desperate. They're trying to brainwash the society and indoctrinate everybody. Okay, I'm gonna stop. All right, let's move on.
It's more about the effect rather than the intention. If that, like, obviously that wasn't your intention, but nevertheless, it disturbed and upset students enough.
So everything's about those students.
It disturbed and upset. Disturbed and upset students. Their feelings are more important than educating them. Their feelings are more important to teaching them how to be critical thinkers and how to think, how to debate, how to have a conversation, how to hear the opposition without breaking down into tears and having a tantrum like children. Their feelings, they're upset. Oh, cry me a river. Fuck the other kids. Fuck the kids who want to learn. Fuck the kids who are actually interested in having a debate and actually hearing what the other side has to say, learning how to think and how to be critical thinkers. Fuck them. The few students, and mind you, I personally don't think there were any students, because she did ask how many students complained, and he said, that's confidential, we can't tell you. Just the number of students complained. She didn't ask how many, what were their names, what were their gender, give me their address and their social security number. She simply asked how many people, so she can, like, if it was most of the class, then maybe she'll be like, hey, maybe I did do something wrong. But if it was 1 or 2 people, then it's like, really? If those 1 or 2 people are more important than all the other students who wanted to actually learn and hear the tape? Mind you, if there were a couple of students, because I personally don't think there were anybody. I think that he just didn't like the fact that she was presenting an opposite side, and probably was disturbed by the fact that there were students who were actually interested in what he had to hear, and he wanted to shut that shit down. And I mean, I don't know this for sure, this is speculation, but I don't know if there were any students, and if they were, they're probably just a couple. And so basically she's saying, like, those few students who feelings were a little hurt are more important than the students who wanted to learn. Feelings over facts. This is how the progressive left has been running themselves this whole time. Feelings over facts.
I was not taking sides. I was presenting both arguments.
It's not just telling them in legitimizing this as a valid perspective, as this is another valid perspective.
In a university, all perspectives are valid.
That's not necessarily true, Lindsay.
Well, this is something that's being debated in current society, and I don't feel the need to shield people from what's going on in society.
Basically, you presented an argument without criticizing it first. No. You have to criticize it first. You have to let the kids know that this idea is problematic, toxic, and it should not be considered valuable whatsoever. By not criticizing it, you might actually give them the idea that they should listen to what he's saying. We wouldn't want that. You're validating that idea by giving that person a voice. Like, what? Oh, gosh.
I don't think I gave away any kind of political position of mine. I remained very neutral. And,
that's kind of the problem.
That's the problem. No. We have to tell them what to think. No. You can't give them the space to think for themselves. That is not what university is for. Where are you coming from? No. See, Lindsay, you're not thinking. Come on, this is university. Well, you actually think we teach critical thinking here? What are you talking about? No. You gotta tell them. You can't present them neutral. You gotta tell them this is shit, that Dr. Jordan Peterson is Hitler, and that all his ideas should never be listened to. That is what you're supposed to say.
Not to kind of do the thing where everything is kind of compared to Hitler, but this is like neutrally playing a speech by Hitler or Milo Yiannopoulos from Gamergate. This is the kind of thing that departmentally, in terms of like critical communication studies and in terms of the course of what we're trying to do, is diametrically opposed to everything that we've been talking about in the lecture.
It goes against our indoctrinating, basically. He continues on in the recording saying, you know, because she says, like, well, why should we not present ideas to these students that are already out in the world? And he basically says, okay, well, maybe if we, taught this to students who've been, in university for a few years, but these are freshmen, and, maybe these ideas are just too dangerous for them to have presented, and which is really like AKA, hey, they haven't been indoctrinated long enough to know that they should shoot these ideas down immediately. They haven't been indoctrinated long enough to know on their own that these ideas are problematic, toxic, and should be thrown out without discussion. Until then, let's keep these things away from them until they've been deeply ingrained in indoctrinating, and then we present these ideas to them so they already know without a doubt that Dr. Jordan Peterson is not someone that should even be given a voice or a platform, because he's just a toxic person. Basically, that's what it is. Like, wait till we have time to brainwash them before presenting them ideas that we don't like. You're going against what we were trying to teach them, which is how to think, which is what to think, and not how to think. So they compared, again, Dr. Jordan Peterson and Milo to Hitler. And this is why when you ask these yelling, benchy student progressive leftists why they dislike someone, why they're protesting their conference or they're coming out to speak at colleges, why are they trying to shut it down? They don't actually have a reason. They just say, he's Hitler, he's Nazi, he's this, he's that. But when you say, but explain to me what you don't like about their ideas, they go numb, or they start to short circuit or something, because they don't know, because they're told not to listen to them. Because why would you want to listen to a Hitler? Why would you want to hear a Nazi speak, right?
We don't talk to Nazis. Yeah, me neither. I also don't talk to Nazis. I've never even seen a Nazi. Who did you vote for?
Who did I vote for? Who did you vote for?
Donald Trump.
Yeah. I guess we're done now.
Why? That was weird.
Donald Trump is worse than Hitler!
You compare these people to people that have done really horrible acts in our history, because it makes it seem like if you want to listen to someone who's like Hitler, if you want to listen to a Nazi, then therefore you are a Nazi, or therefore you're validating what Hitler believes because you want to listen to what he's saying. So that's why they blanket, they take this broad, ugly brush and they paint everybody with the same Hitler brush. Are you fucking kidding me? Dr. Jordan Peterson is not like, he's actually a really smart guy. I'm not saying he's perfect. I've actually seen him tweet some stuff that I'm kind of like, but the fact of the matter is, a lot of these students would benefit greatly if they were allowed to hear him speak. And Milo, I remember when I first heard about Milo and they were protesting him from Berkeley. I didn't believe what they were saying. I didn't believe that he was like this Hitler, or he was racist or transphobic or anything like that. But I kind of felt like, okay, he probably says really rude things and I don't really care for him just off of that. But when I finally heard him talk, I was literally like, this is who they're protesting? They've never heard him speak.
I mean, have you seen any of his videos or speeches or anything you picked out from those?
No, I don't have I can't come up with something off the top of my head, but yeah.
Is it like based on what others have told you, or?
Yes.
They've never heard him say anything. And this is why. Because their professors say stuff like, oh, Milo and Jordan, they're like, it's kind of like Hitler. It's kind of like a Nazi. Why would you want to listen to a Nazi? Are you a Nazi? Do you believe in Jewish genocide? I don't think so. So you better not listen to them. The fact of the matter is, I think it will be a great class assignment to break down things that Hitler has said. That would be such a cool project, to actually listen to what he's saying and understand how could millions of people have fallen for what Hitler had said, because the people it's been said that he was an elegant speaker, or he was really good with his words. I've never personally stopped and listened to a Hitler speech before, but honestly, I would be so stoked if my professor was like, let's listen to a Hitler speech, and it's now up to you to criticize or to break it down in an intellectual way why he was wrong, or why you think people fell for what he said. Why do you think so many people loved Hitler's words and hung on to them, or how did he how did he get into people's brains and make people do such horrific things? I think that would be such a cool assignment. Why wouldn't you do that as a professor, to challenge your students? I think that'd be amazing. And no, it's not saying like, oh, if you want to listen to Hitler, that means you believe what Hitler is saying, and that means you're validating what he's saying. I think they're challenging your students' ideas. I think that would be an amazing project for a professor to present to their students. They'll really learn to teach them how to critical think and teach them how people can be fooled by language and by words. So no, I don't think, oh, if it's Hitler, why would you want to, why do you think I should, so if it's Hitler, do you really think we should do like a class assignment about Hitler's speech? Yeah, like if it served a purpose, if it taught the students something, yes, you should do those things. I remember in my school, I had a very racist professor. She had us do this writing assignment, and the topic of the writing assignment was, why are you ashamed to be black? And this is after she ran all the white people out of the class because she's so fucking racist, and she basically said out of her own mouth that she preferred not to teach white students. But she had us do a writing assignment, and the topic of the writing assignment was, why are you ashamed of being black? And I thought that was kind of weird because of who she was, but honestly in my mind I was like, oh man, she's really challenging us. Like, this is this really cool like thing. She's gonna make us think from a different perspective. But I was wrong. She really just wanted us to say what she wanted us to say, and I got a bad grade, even though everything I wrote was fine, and I followed her assignment. But because I didn't say all white people are racist, I got a bad grade. But if she did stick to that topic and she wasn't just playing fucking mind tricks, I thought that was an awesome writing assignment. This makes you think. It makes you look at the other side. Like, why are universities this day so scared to challenge their students, especially in humanitarian classes? She had an interview with Global News where she talks about the purpose of why she played this video. And she also talked about, hey, if we start off giving our opinions about a speaker, then we shut off the thinking or opinions of the students themselves. One of the things she spoke about in a different interview, because she's been sort of doing the rounds, is someone asked her, like, what do you think is the most problematic part of the universities of today? And she said, censorship. And it's not necessarily the censorship of universities, even though that is something that they're doing. She said it's self-censorship, because you have professors that come out and basically say that this person is problematic, this person is toxic, his words are violence, their words are hate speech, or they're like Hitler, they're Nazis, they're transphobic, they're racist, they're all these things. And then if a student actually wants to oppose that professor's point of view, or if they want to interject their ideas of what the person is saying or what the person is doing that may go against the popular opinion, they will self-censor themselves because they don't want to risk being pointed out or scrutinized or called a racist or transphobic, and therefore they're not giving them a chance of the opportunities for their ideas to be heard, and if their ideas are heard, for other students to combat that or debate it or break it down, to have a discussion with their classmates or the professor. They're not allowed to learn these things and learn how to just have a conversation, period. And that is definitely one of the dangerous things, and self-censorship is really, really dangerous. It's harmful on a bigger scale. Like, let's go back and look at the Hitler Nazi Holocaust situation. Maybe there were people who didn't believe what Hitler was doing. Maybe there are people who thought this was terrible, this was monstrous, this is murder, we should not be doing this, but because of the harm or the threat of going against the dictatorship, they decided to stay silent instead. And I do think that's a lot of that's going on today, not to that extent. But when you hear people say, all white people are racist, all men are rapists, and all minorities are oppressed, that, white guilt, white shame, the woman who sat there and told all white people that they're evil and they're devils and they're with all these things, that there's probably a lot of people that sat there and was like, this is ridiculous, this is stupid, why are you even listening to this woman, why is these ideas allowed to constantly keep circulating? It is because people are self-censoring themselves. People don't want to speak up. People are scared to be seen as racist or as transphobic or as misogynist. They're scared to be going to go against the grain or get their freaking Twitter accounts shut down. So self-censorship is a big problem, and I don't want people to go around yelling faggot and nigger all the time, but we need to allow people to at least be able to speak and say what they feel, even if it's problematic or it makes someone feel uncomfortable. So the Laurier Vice President and Vice Chancellor Deborah McLaughlin, something like that, came out and she did apologize for what happened, and she basically said that they are a college of free speech and free expression, and people should be able to present ideas even if it makes you feel uncomfortable, and this meeting goes completely against what they stand for, and blah blah blah, backtrack, pedal, basically trying to cover their ass. Like, either A, she's completely just blinded and just not knowing what's going on in her own university, or B, she is full of shit. Okay? A professor doesn't feel this comfortable taking a student to a class with multiple other people and basically trying to reprogram them to think right and to think the right thoughts. If he hasn't done this before, and if he didn't feel like he had the leeway to do such a thing. So no, this is not like the first time, and this is just one in a million. This has been going on. Somebody finally just recorded it anyway. So they apologized, but Lindsay has come out and said, like, yeah, they apologized. She feels like they're empty apologies, and that they haven't actually taken a stance to say that we're going to change some policies, we're going to, retrain the professor to make sure they know for sure that this is a university of free speech and free expression. I don't know, so it's insane, and yeah, go Lindsay. Go Lindsay. I hope that this maybe kicks off a career for her, and yeah, like, she can be someone who is of a college age and talking to other students and help other students learn to speak up for themselves, because it is a problem of, like I said before, self-censorship, and almost students feeling like they're just not going to talk just to get to college, just so they don't have to get berated. And it's sad. I don't want to live in a world where people are scared to just speak their minds. Again, I don't want people to go around saying nigger, nigger, nigger all day, but I mean, hey, you're free to do so. I'm just saying I want us to be able to have conversations, and even if it makes you feel a little uncomfortable. The university has started a third-party investigation to see basically what kind of steps they should take. They are basically hiding their tails between their legs at the moment, and came out and the initial teacher or the professor came out with a apology, basically saying, like, maybe the way he's been teaching isn't the correct way, maybe he handled the situation poorly. I think that this has probably been going on for many years, and this is the first time they got caught, so I don't think he necessarily feels sorry for what he's done. And maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully he has thought about this. Hopefully he has rethought his teaching tactics, but it's just hard for me to believe that, because I really think this has been going on for a long time, and she's probably not the first person that has been called into the principal's office per se. So I'm not going to record or play the rest of the recording. You guys can go look on your own and see what has been said, but it's just astonishing to me, and this is just sad. This is sad that this is really what universities come to. I watched a recent video on Dave Rubin. Yes, more Dave Rubin. He was interviewing someone who's involved in academia, and he was saying, like, academia is becoming a failed business, really. You know, and for two reasons. One is all this humanitarian bullshit, you know, that came out with Evergreen and other colleges like that, and on this one, that more people are just sort of staying away because they feel like I'm just gonna get brainwashed, and I'm gonna leave university with a barista degree that's not gonna do me any good, and then I'm gonna go into the workforce and just scream racist and misogynist is the reason why I can't find a job or why my life is failing in some way. Not because I've basically been regressed in age when I went to university and just taught to just throw tantrums and stick my finger in my ear and go la 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 la. I can't hear you because I don't like what you're saying. But not only that, is because basically you have to pretty much have a master's degree at this point to compete with the workforce, and other people come from overseas and that actually got actual educations and are better qualified for them. So it's harder to compete. You have to spend so much more money in universities. You're stuck with so much student debt, and it's hurting people financially, and it carries on throughout their life. And so a lot of people are turning to vocational schools instead. So you go to nursing school or mechanic school or a technician school or something like that. You get a vocation. There's actually a better chance of you getting a job than you spending thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars at university on a degree that you're probably not going to be able to use anyway. So it's failing, and this is not hurting. This type of rhetoric is definitely not helping them. It just kind of sickens me, and I'm really, really proud of Lindsay and people like her, and there's been other students like this that has come out and spoken out about this. It gives me a lot of hope that it is changing, that the tides are turning, that more and more people are like, this is ridiculous. Like, she's not even a conservative, and she says she doesn't even agree with Dr. Jordan Peterson, but it's like, if you don't act exactly verbatim the way we want you to act, then you are wrong and you are problematic. I'm glad more and more people are like this. I hope more and more people record conversations like this or put it out there, expose them for what they're doing. I'm not saying that things should be a witch hunt. I don't think people should go to these people's social media or find them or dox them or anything like that. I just want to start the conversation and open up the dialogue that this sort of teaching needs to stop. In universities, the professors need to become more diverse, and I don't mean skin color. I mean thinking. They need to be more diverse. It can't just be a bunch of progressives. It has to be progressives, liberals, Democrats, also Republicans, centrists, right wings, libertarians. It has to be a diverse group of people teaching our students. And I'm not saying this is all universities, and I'm definitely not saying that this is all teachers, and I'm not saying university doesn't have still a place in our society, but I'm just like, this is just sad, and this is why it's getting worse and worse and worse, because they're just spitting out more people like this, and then they become teachers, and then they're indoctrinating more students, and it's actually happening younger and younger and younger. There's elementary students, teachers who are telling her students that they shouldn't have a gender, and they should all go by they and them. It's like, basically telling the kids what they should think instead of how to think. So pretty much, like, this is just sickening, and I'm just really, really proud of her. A 22-year-old wasn't scared to stick up for what she believed in, and even though it brought her to tears, she still said, no, this is wrong, and I'm gonna stick to my guns here because I haven't done anything wrong. She didn't present Dr. Jordan Peterson as if, like, oh my God, this person is a genius and you should listen to everything he says, even though he is a really, really smart guy. So yeah, I think you guys should definitely check out her video. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. I'm sorry, again, long-winded, but yeah, check out the link below if you want to hear her whole video. It's about 42 minutes long, and she has a couple of other interviews out there on YouTube. Sphere, I'm pretty sure we'll probably see her on Dave Rubin or something at some point. So that's it. If you like this video, please like it and share it. Share it out to Twitter, Facebook, and beyond, guys, and we'll continue to have a conversation like this and just talking about topics like this, debates, conversations. Please subscribe. If you subscribe, please hit that bell so you get the notifications when I do upload. And if you have any comments whatsoever on this video and anything I said, if you experienced anything like this, if you're a uni student or just got out of uni, just please put in a comment in the comment section below. And that's it, guys. Thank you, and peace.
I get called a sellout. Meanwhile, I want upward mobility for my people. I get called a house fill in the blank, because I think that we can do better. I think we can pull ourselves up by our own bootstraps and finish the race on our own. I don't think we need the almighty savior of big government. When the government is your baby daddy, that's when you run into problems.
I have to do what I have to do. I had to work my way through college. I had to pay for my own education twice through undergrad and graduate school, and getting to where I am now and working really, really hard. That really got me to the place where I am. So I guess I have to thank both my mom and my dad for instilling that in me.
We have had severe unemployment. We have had the family unit torpedoed. When we basically sold our political souls to the political devil that is the Democratic Party, we signed on that dotted line. We gave away our upward mobility. We basically have the exact same slave mentality, the exact same slave contract, only with different instruments to implement it. And quite frankly, I'm disgusted as a brown woman to see my fellow brown people just completely sell themselves out.
And people start off all in different places, but at the end of the day, once you make excuses and become a victim, it's hard to move beyond that. It's hard to, leave the victim mentality. So a lot of these people, I think, kind of are stuck in that zone.
I totally agree, and that's what kills me about the fact that they're telling all these people in the black community that they are victims and that they can't do anything, and to me, that's the height of racism. Just because you're black, you can't do anything, and I feel like I'm living proof that it doesn't matter what skin color you are, you can do anything, you can be anything, you can have anything that you want if you go and get it.
Bam, take that as a soundbite.